Svechnikov to the net. 2-1 Carolina. Now more chances for Carolina. Orlov scores in his 800th game. Dimitry Orlov buries it, and in a blink, Carolina's up 3-1. A chance to score! Trick or treat! Martin Necas getting all the candy in the early part of the season. It's 4-1 Carolina with another power play goal.
Need to be here. Hi, sorry about that. Hi, everybody. It's the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for just a little bit here following a Hurricanes' utter domination in a win over the Boston Bruins. Final score, 8-2. Canes utterly undress the Boston Bruins here at Lenovo Center. And those three goals you heard, I tried to play those three because they happened in rapid fire. Andrei Svechnikov at 17-14. They did give the goal to Jackson Blake. Walt Ruff told me in the first intermission that that's going to be Jackson Blake's goal. I mean, I've seen the replay 15 times. Still can't see the puck go in off his stick, but he was in the way. So it probably brushed his stick on the way in, so it won't be Dimitry Orlov's goal. It will be an assist from Orlov, and Blake gets his third goal of the season. But that was at 17:52, so 38 seconds after Andrei. 14 seconds later, so my math tells me 52 seconds between the Svechnikov goal that made it 2-1 and the Necas goal that made it 4-1. And this game was basically over there, although Hampus Lindholm did score in the first goal of the second period to make it 4-2, and then Carolina just stretched it out. So we'll get through all of that, and we'll talk about what I think was the biggest moment of the game, or moments of the game. But Hurricanes, super impressive again, and we'll talk about all of this. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna's crew do a great job. Hope you check them out for all of your exterior home improvement needs. Shouts to California. Cali Caniacs. I wanted to say hi. So hi to you. Let us know where you are. We'll try to give you a shout out. If there's questions, throw them in the chat, and we'll see how many we can get to. But I've got a list of things I want to get to, so I might be able to answer your questions. You guys can just talk amongst yourselves as we move along through the game. All right, I'm going to start with, we'll get to the numbers and all of that in a second. But I want to start with the single most important stretch of the game. Hurricanes have a 1-0 lead, and I thought they were on it right from the opening faceoff. First shift, Sebastian Aho took a pass from Jack Roslovic right out in front and just redirected what should have been the first goal wide. I'm convinced now that Sebastian is not going to score a 5-on-5 goal this year. He's had plenty of chances. I thought Seabass was great tonight and didn't have a goal. He had one assist on the Roslovic goal that made it 1-0. Super pass. But Sebastian had that opportunity. Then he had a little bit of a mini break coming in off the left when forehand, backhand, Swayman just gloved it away. So I thought Aho had probably 3 really good scoring chances early in the game, and he ended up with, I think, 5 scoring chances overall, 3 high danger chances, according to Natural Stat Trick, at 5-on-5. Not forget about what happened on the power play. And the Hurricanes' power play was pretty doggone good tonight. So, but Aho gets nothing. He did, and ultimately did get an assist. That's great. But no goals. Again, I thought he was really good. So Carolina finally does get the goal. Aho to Roslovic, dynamite play. Jack's, at that point, 5th of the season. Hurricanes have a 1-0 lead, and then the parade starts. 4-minute double minor to Kotkaniemi. He goes to the box. Carolina gets through the first of those power plays unscathed. Actually, I'm not even sure Boston got a shot attempt on the first 2 minutes of the power play. Then about 40 seconds into the second one, Jalen Chatfield called for interference behind the net. Like, the puck really wasn't there. It's kind of interference. Not really going to complain about that call. Rod Brindamore, however, did and was given his own penalty, bench minor, for unsportsmanlike conduct. So Carolina went from 5-on-4 to 5-on-3, back to 5-on-4 because Brad Marchand scored a goal accidentally. It was an own goal by Jacob Slavin. We should probably do that in the NHL like they do in soccer because Marchand didn't even shoot it. It was a pass further away from the goal than he was. So not really a shot, but it deflects off of Slavin's knee, flutters in for 1-1. That equalized the game. After that, and that's where Rod got mad, was because he didn't think that it was enough of a penalty because it wasn't tons of contact, but the puck isn't there. The puck is probably anywhere from 6 to 10 feet away, and Chatfield's not even attempting to play the puck. So I get it. I think it's a penalty. Is it a light penalty? Rod said that, but whatever. So Rod thought that the referees would give him some leeway, and they opted to not. So Carolina got a bench minor. They go back to the 5-on-3, or Boston does. And Carolina killed it. And then Carolina killed the rest of the next penalty. All told, 5 minutes and 29 seconds consecutive of power play time for the Bruins, including about 2 minutes of 5-on-3. Boston managed just 3 shots. Remember, the goal, I'm not counting it as a shot because it wasn't a shot. The goal was a pass deflected off of Slavin and in. 3 other shots in 5.5 total minutes, including 2 minutes of 5-on-3. It was remarkable penalty killing. And for me, the moment of the game, the stretch of the game that decided who was going to win this, because when that was over, yes, Carolina got their own power play about a minute or so after the last penalty, the bench minor, expired. It was about about 4:40 left, roughly, when the bench minor expired. About, I don't know how much longer, not very much longer. Later on, the Hurricanes got their own power play, and that's the Andrei Svechnikov goal, and that started the 3 goals in 52 seconds. Andrei, then there was the scrum in front, not really a scrum, great pressure by Carrier and Jackson Blake to create the opportunity. Orlov just skated in and pounced on a loose puck, and it must have brushed Jackson Blake on the way in, whether he got it with his body or his stick. It's Blake's 3rd goal. So that was 38 seconds after the Svechnikov goal. So now it's 3-1. And then in the dead ball, in the time between the goal and the faceoff, Boston got another penalty, and Carolina won the draw, kept it in. Puck eventually gets around to Necas. He's trying to make a pass as well, and that goes off the skate of Brandon Carlo and slipped underneath Jeremy Swayman. It is 4-1. We went from 1-1 to 4-1 in that. Let me just make one editorial comment about tonight's opponent. Boston ain't good. They are not good. Brad Marchand is great going into the Hall of Fame. David Pastrnak is great. He's going into the Hall of Fame. They have a great coach. Jim Montgomery is awesome. I think they have great goaltending. I didn't think Jeremy Swayman played bad tonight. I thought they pulled him because it was unfair to Jeremy Swayman what was going on. Boston's defense is not good. I could not believe what I was watching. If you go and the Carrier-Blake pressure, I don't know how, I'm glad that they played it really well. Boston can't allow that. We'd lose our minds as Hurricanes fans if we saw that happen in front of Kochetkov. Their defending is awful. Awful. They also look kind of slow. They've got good size, but boy, could they use some speed. Absolutely could use some speed. This is the first game I have ever seen the Bruins play. And part of this could very well be the Hurricanes doing this. But this is the first time I've watched the Bruins play in the last 6 years, where Brad Marchand, who's coming back from, I think, 3 off-season surgeries, and David Pastrnak didn't look dominant, didn't look good. They just looked there. Boston's defense doesn't look very mobile. I think Lorei can skate. We'll talk about number 6, Boston's defenseman. We'll talk about him in a minute, but I was floored how ordinary the Bruins look. I don't know how many years in a row they have either been one of, if not the best team during the regular season. But the team that I watched tonight, that team ain't making the playoffs. Ooh, that team is not good. Of course, maybe they just played one of the best 2, 3, 4 teams in the league. It's still way early to even think about it in those terms. This was game 9 for the Hurricanes, then game 11 for Boston. But there are a lot of good signs about what this Carolina team is about. So let's just kind of address that real quick here on the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. I talked to Jordan Martinook before the game. I talked to Rod Brindamore, obviously, a lot. I'm going to go back to last year. Now, this time last year, the Hurricanes weren't what the Hurricanes looked like when we got to the postseason, right? It was no Jake Guentzel. It was Michael Bunting. But I would say it took about 15 games. I'd have to go back and look at the date of the game in Ottawa. It was at the end of I think it was the second road trip of the season, where they went to Ottawa, then to Detroit. That was the start of Kochetkov's best run of play. But it took, I'd say, a good 15 games last year before the Hurricanes really started to get to their game. And I would argue that while they played well most of the season, it didn't look like what I'm watching for the first, these 8 games. Obviously, the Tampa game was, we could probably at this point stop giving them a pass on the Tampa game. But the last 8 games, Carolina's done nothing but kick ass. That's what they've done. Absolutely bossed the game 8 consecutive nights. Utter domination in the first period. Really, it extended to the second period. And I'll throw these numbers at you because this is true. First 2 periods, before everybody was just trying to get to the end of the game without incident. In all situations, so as the clock was moving, didn't make a difference what the strengths were, even, shorthanded, 6-on-5, didn't matter. In all situations, the Hurricanes attempted 52 shots in the first 2 periods. Boston attempted 18, all situations. If you eliminate the 5.5 minutes of Boston power play time, which included about 2 minutes of 5-on-3 time, eliminate that, Boston had 8 shot attempts through the first 2 periods. So over 34.5 minutes of hockey. Granted, some of that, the Hurricanes had a power play, right? So let's take another, because Hurricanes scored on their power plays 3 times tonight. But in the first 2 periods, I guess all 3 power play goals came in the first 2 periods. So, let's say 30 minutes of 5-on-5 time. Boston had 8 shot attempts, not shots on goal, shot attempts. Shots on goal through 2 periods is 24-7. But the only time Boston got shots through any sort of consistently was on their power plays. That's it. And their power plays weren't all that threatening tonight. The shot, they superimposed the shot where the shots came from on the ice, and even on those power plays, not a lot of threat. Hurricanes were awesome tonight. The Bruins were the opposite of awesome tonight. So, this is a team that is getting to their identity, playing to their identity. I asked Jordan Martinook why he thinks that is, and he attributed actually to the new guys. He said because they came in here and they immediately bought into the system. And Carolina's got 6 different players, 6 new players from a year ago. We'll have to consider Jackson Blake a new player. I know he played a game last year, but he's a new player. William Carrier, Eric Robinson, Jack Roslovic, Shane Gostisbehere. And yes, I know he was here for, quarter of the season 2 years ago. And so he's familiar with the system, but it's still new. And Sean Walker. So that's 6 new players. And Martinook thinks that the new guys bought in right away. And if you realize they're scattered throughout the lineup, obviously Walker and Gostisbehere are a defensive pairing, and they have been spectacular as a tandem. But Blake and Carrier right now are playing on the same line with Jack Drury. We'll talk about that line as well tonight. Roslovic is playing on the top line, as he did in New York when he was traded to the Rangers, as he did at times in Winnipeg, playing with Patrick Laine. Was he with Laine in Winnipeg? He played with Laine at times in Columbus, too. But Roslovic has fit right in because he is such an outstanding skater. And if you can skate, you can play with Aho and Svechnikov. And these guys have all contributed, and they are playing the way Rod Brindamore wants everybody to play. And then you get into some of the other players, and we will. But Martinook felt like it was very easy for the more familiar players here. And this is not a blame. He's like, you just realize, all right, this is the way we're going to play, but I can do some other things too. So I remember vividly after a couple of home games, Jordan Staal going, very somber and saying, we need to get everybody on the same page. So again, that's about 15 games in. They were still thinking about it in those terms. Right now, everybody's on the same page here. It has been a remarkable, in terms of performance and production are 2 different things. In terms of it looking the way the head coach wants, they're 8 out of 9 this year. Only the Tampa game didn't. And they could have won that game. We've talked about that before, too. But in terms of style, this is it. They have owned every first period. Not always on the scoreboard, although they have scored first in 6 of 9 games. They're 4-2 in those games. So First goal doesn't always matter. I mean, it's hockey, but at times it's an indication. And I think for the Hurricanes, more often than not, it's been an indication that they are here to take no prisoners. They have been really, really good, especially from the start. In this game, it was 40 minutes of dominance. Against Vancouver, they played 30 minutes of great hockey. They only played like 5 minutes of bad hockey in St. Louis. It just cost them because Kochetkov didn't play very well in that game. I'll get to actually. Let me just check off the Kochetkov box here. I didn't like the second goal. I mean, I realized that Hampus Lindholm made a move around Roslovic. Whew, it's a little over defending there after Svechnikov turned the puck over. Roslovic committed a little too strongly defensively, and Hampus Lindholm just cut inside and whistled one past Kochetkov's glove. I would have loved to have seen Kochetkov move for it. It almost looked to me like he misjudged it. I didn't love the goal, but I will say that from that point on, I thought Kochetkov was really good. You certainly don't want to allow bad goals. Don't want to get into that habit because in the regular season, you can get away with them. In the postseason, you won't. Goals are too hard to come by. Can't give them away. He gave away 3 goals in Vancouver. Hurricanes outscored their problem. They outscored their goalie. Tonight, they outscored a lot. But Kochetkov, I thought, got right back on it. And I thought he made a number, especially in the third period, early in the third period, and late in the second. I thought that he played a very mature game because he made a bunch of saves through traffic. So, again, I was impressed after giving up the goal that, I mean, I could be wrong here, but I didn't love it. And there was another goal that was chalked off for goalie interference, and it was the right call. Elias Lindholm was the one that interfered with Kochetkov. But I just thought that he was super solid, and there were some challenging saves with, somebody in front of him. So whether he got a clean look, but he had to kind of fight through it. There was always the possibility of a deflection. I thought I was just impressed. All right, let me rip through a few more things here, and then we can maybe go check out a couple of comments. Anyway, we got trying to think if we have anybody here. Happy Halloween from Stormbringer. Cheers. Oh, you guys are all you guys don't need me. You guys are talking amongst yourselves, and that's fine. On the goals tonight, I thought the most important part or the most impressive part for most of the goals were the assists on the goals. The Aho pass to Roslovic. I mean, dynamite pass with pace right on target, so Roslovic didn't have to adjust or anything. He just lets it fly. 1-0 Carolina. The Gostisbehere shot on the power play for the first Svechnikov goal. That's basically the pass. The Orlov goal, there's no pass there. But the Necas goal, again, Necas scores off the pass, deflected off the skate of Brandon Carlo. But in the second period, the Jarvis pass, the spinorama backhand pass to Svechnikov across the goal mouth. And Andrei's second effort is what gets the goal, but it's the pass that creates the play. Then on the Roslovic second goal that made it 6-2, and this is honestly my favorite play of the entire game. Jordan Martinook absolutely big boying Mason Lohrei behind the net. Lohrai's got the puck. Like, he's basically skating. Martinook tracked him, pinned him, stole the puck, got it to Roslovic in front, and it's 6-2. Play of the night for me. And for Martinook, it was his 200th career NHL point. Orlov played in his 800th career game. All impressive stuff. The Kochetkov goal, great pass across from Martin Necas. Great pass across. So there were so many good setups tonight. And I think in the case of the goals I talked about, the setups really create the play. Now you got to finish them, and everybody but Sebastian Aho right now is finishing shots. As I get into the last thing that I'm going to talk about tonight, well, actually, we didn't even do the penalty kill or the power play yet. So penalty kill goes 4 for 5 tonight. If you wanted to, and I won't stop you, we could pretend that wasn't a power play goal because it wasn't even a shot attempt. That was the goal that they gave up, and it was a 5-on-3 goal. But the penalty kill, 4 for 5. Power play, 3 out of 5. And you could even make it 4 out of 6 because the Roslovic goal that made it 1-0 happened during a delayed penalty. Carolina was about to go on the power play, but they maintained control of the puck. Burns, it might have gone somewhere else first. Yes, Svechnikov gave it to Aho. Aho made the pass to Roslovic for the goal. But special teams was really the reason, penalty kill was the reason this game didn't go the other way. And if you think about a Boston team that had come in with 1 win in their last 5, not scored a ton of goals, given up way too much. The way for the Bruins to win this game was during that 4-minute double minor. A couple of power play goals. Get Carolina back on their heels. Change the complexion of the game. Didn't happen. Because in the first power play, the first 2 minutes, and actually a little bit more, Boston was anemic. I think the Hurricanes cleared the puck or controlled the puck for more than half of those 2 minutes. It was just an impressive kill. Then you get to the 5-on-3 and the fluky goal, but after that, Boston wasn't threatening. The best shot they had was from maybe just inside the top of the left faceoff circle, Pasternak on a pass across from Marchand. That was it. And Kochetkov read it beautifully. Penalty kill really was the difference tonight. Power play was great, right? But it's the penalty kill in that sequence is what enabled Carolina to get 2 points tonight. I think to me, that's the number one part of the game, was just that. All right, final thing for us tonight here on the Canes Corner podcast. Martin Necas is at times frustrating. He has been, right? And I assume that we are going to go through a stretch this year where 88 will be frustrating to us. But boy, through 9 games, not frustrating. And again, as Rod has said, and we've talked about, it's a simple game that he is playing. And when you do the simple things, it really allows your natural gifts. And Necas has many natural gifts. It just allows that to shine through even more. So you don't need the fancy. All you need is the straight line, direct nature of really the way Necas has been playing. It's not doing anything extraordinary except allow, and look, again, competition tonight matters. But he's simply allowing his natural ability to flourish because he's not getting in his own way. Now, as a quick aside, I do think that line needs to be a little bit tighter defensively. In terms of allowing opportunities tonight, that line was victimized is not the right word, but they allowed too many good opportunities for Boston. I would say it's too many. Boston didn't have that many. But they all seem to come against Kotkaniemi, Necas, and Robinson. Now, part of that is maybe okay. And I know there are some of you who are frustrated that the head coach demands that all four lines play in a similar way. And as long as Necas doesn't do crazy things, giving the puck away and such, as long as he doesn't do those things, I think Rod is more inclined to allow that line to kind of freewheel it a little bit, especially when he can control the matchups on home ice. And I think that's what he's doing, which is good. But Marty has been everything you could have hoped for. And we talked about this during the preseason. We talked about it during the summer. Necas wants to be that guy. Hurricanes got him for this year and next year. And I've said this, don't know how many times. My feeling is that both sides would like this to work out to be a long-term relationship. I don't think it would cost Aho money to keep him. I mean, if Necas puts up a 100-point season, yes, it will. Flat out, it will. And if the Hurricanes are smart, they'd pay it. Because the Marty Necas we're watching right now is a pretty special player. Pretty special player. He has been awesome. And I know there's a lot of praise for Eric Tulsky. The praise for Eric Tulsky doesn't come with regards to Necas. It comes with regards to Robinson, Roslovic, Carrier, Walker, Gostisbehere. That is where the general manager, I'm not going to say it definitively because we've only played 9 games, but that's where the general manager has really shown. Because all those guys fit. Carrier fits. Robinson fits. Roslovic obviously fits. Now, is he going to score? I can't do the math. 9 times 9 is 81, right? That's true? Yes, 9 times 9 is 81. It's basically 1/9 of the season. Do I think Roslovic's going to score, what was it, 6 times 9? Do I think he's going to score, 63 goals? 54 goals? It's late, man. Give me a break. No, I don't think he's going to Sam Reinhart the season. But he's off to a good start. He's only had one 20-goal season in his whole career. I don't even expect him to get 20. But he's already proving to be a very good fit. So with all of that said, and my poor math, I must be still tired from Monday night's game in Vancouver. I am Adam Gold. This has been the Canes Corner Podcast. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. That's who brings us this after every Hurricanes game. Math, so hard. Don't ever do math like on the fly. You'll screw it up. I just did. So thanks to Sammy Hanna's crew, aluminumcompany.com. You can find this wherever you get your podcast. And if you join us on YouTube after every Hurricanes game, and I can see how many people are joining us now, and that's cool. Subscribe, like, share, rate, review. Let us know what you think. Who knows? Maybe some point we'll be able to get this more interactive. It's hard for me to do all of that, but we'll figure it out down the road. But it's been fun. And we'll do it again on Sunday after the Canes and the Capitals, which, by the way, is going to be a great game. Washington is also 7-2. And Alexander Ovechkin is I think he got his 5th goal tonight. I don't think he's going to get to the number 1 spot. I don't think he can do it this year without a ridiculous year. I don't know exact. I think he's like 50 some odd goals short. But look, it's still he's still an attraction every time he takes the ice. But this Washington team is good. And it got some size. So should be fun. Should be fun on Sunday. I didn't see the attendance tonight. I do not believe that this was a Hurricanes sellout, which obviously that means the 70 sellout streak is over. Let's see, attendance. I stand corrected. 18-7. They only needed 18-6 for a sellout. My bad. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hurricanes 8, Boston 2. This has been the Canes Corner podcast, and we will see everybody when we do this Sunday night after the game against the Capitals. Until then.